I don't think we should do this. It's not right. Mike, you can't be working this hard and not have anything in return for it. You're a businessman, aren't you? Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just a little nervous. It's fine, mate. And listen, you put in a lot of work. It is only fair that you have an equal share to it. But what about you? Mate, I'm here because I'm your friend. I don't need any more money. Yeah. So, what are you going to ask him? 31.5. That come out right? You want me to double check some math here? Because they all 50-50 partners and they haven't took outside investors, so the equity is the same, right? Yeah. So let's do about 3, so about 33.3. Maybe somewhere around there. So 3, makes it even enough. And if they say no and get pissed, then you do something else. Take Freddy, start your own restaurants. You got the money for it. You don't need them to do that. It just takes so much work when you don't have a foundation built. But you could do it. Fine. Alright. There's no reason you should be working yourself to death for 5 days without any outside help. It's not what you need to do anymore. I'm not gonna sit here and let you do it. When are they supposed to be here? A minute or two. They said they were on the way. What if Sam doesn't go for it? Well, they'll have to find themselves a new genius, won't they?
Hey.
Well, if it isn't my favorite second mate, take a seat.
Alright.
We rented this place out for this conversation. We probably should have got a bigger booth.
Yeah.
I'll just look forward. Easy that way. I don't want to look too weird. Sorry, I know my shoulder. You touched yours. I don't want. Is that awkward for you? Are you a touchy
No, it's
person?
fine. It's fine.
Right. Well, I found John. Want to guess what he was doing?
I'm taking the assumption he was working by himself.
5 days. No sunlight. Surprised you ain't pale in the face. Uh-huh. Found him dehydrated on the floor dead. I died? Yeah, you died. And it was just tragic, really. The last words were something about a fucking pen. We got him, though. That was his dying wish. If you could tell John one thing, what would you want to tell him, Oliver?
He's a hard worker, and
Right.
he shouldn't work by himself, and...
Right. He lies the hard worker.
Here lies the hard worker.
Yeah, it's basically the end of everyone's life, I guess. John, with some counseling from me, wanted to talk to you about the future of you guys' relationship. Is that all right?
Huh.
Without Sam here.
Yeah, it's fine without Sam here.
I'll let John do the talking because he is smarter than me when it comes to the business aspect. So, obviously the end goal with me working with you is to obtain equity into the company. I think you know that, and I think Sam does.
Yeah.
And I feel like me personally bringing in Aaron and fixing the animatronics and, coming up with these things to do, like the expo to get the brand awareness of the restaurants we do have more traction, is something that cannot be done on a solo person like you two were doing by yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That does make sense. Yeah.
And while I know the equity is very important to keep the restaurants going, I promise that everything I ask for will always go back into the restaurants. I will not put a dime into my pocket.
Yeah.
Why? I never did it with Fazbear, and I won't do it here. I always believe that the money that is made off commissions and off the animatronics should go back into making the business profitable. But then you're doing it for nothing. Now I'm doing it for the future. One day, Oliver and me and Sam, and you, we're going to get old. We're not going to be able to do this like we used to. Getting close to 30. And time doesn't stop, Oliver.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time at Fazbear Entertainment or Afton Robotics. And I should have asked for more when I had the chance. I had equity that I gave away, but I didn't have enough for staying power. For our relationship to continue, I'm going to ask for an amount that you can discuss with Sam, that you can talk to with Sam, and if you guys don't agree to it, that's perfectly fine. I don't expect you to say yes, because taking money away from you two could hurt your personal lives, and I don't want to do that.
Of course.
My goal for Fazbear at the end of the day was to build up the reputation past the crime and murder that took place, the allegations and everything else. You guys don't have that. It's a clean slate, and I think we can make something big together. So I'm going to ask for 33.3%.
That is a lot. I could talk to Sam about it though, of course, and I could see what we can do, but
I don't
not
think you
gonna say
understand,
no.
Oliver. If it's a no, be an Aaron walk. And that's not a threat. That's just what we're going to do. Aaron's right.
That's fair enough.
Let me do the math for you real quick. So let's have the 33 by 2. That's 16.6. A little bit more, less from each of you. I'm asking for 16% from each of you, basically. 16.6. Depending on how well the company... What was the yearly earnings last year?
I don't remember. That
that's
is
why you need John.
Sam.
John knows. John, how much did Afton Robotics make last year? The restaurants or the robotics side? Robotics. 8.7 billion in profit. 13.8 altogether. Restaurants included, around 38 billion. He knows it because he lives for it. He doesn't get to do your office work. He doesn't get to do your paperwork. And I'm sure you could use someone who can organize himself. And 16.6 from both of you in the long run. John can make that other 33 worth just as much.
Yeah. And I believe
you don't have to
I could
speak for me, Aaron. I'm just trying to help. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to. I didn't come to them for some charity case to swindle them out of shares. That's not why I did this. Do you realize how horrible I was to these people? I called them dirt. I threw bricks through their windows. I threw sand in that one's eye. Really? Twice. Mr. Afton thrived on putting these guys down. When we figured out that they were going to buy a new location, we'd buy the whole city block. When we figured out they actually had advancements in their robotics, he made Elliot create it first. This isn't just some business deal. It's years of torment and bad behavior, bad business behavior. And what's changed then? I just can't keep doing the same shit over and over. I can't keep being the same person I was and expect people to like me or work with me. I got people who I work with, but I pay them to work with me. I see Oliver as a friend. And I don't want Oliver to think that I'm trying to threaten them into giving me shares of their company. promise you, if the deal doesn't go through, I will help through the expo. I will continue working through that. But after that point, I will have to continue my own
Of course.
practice.
Of course. Uh, I believe we can do it. I'll still talk with Sam, but I believe we can just, both give us like half of our shares and
It's
like
not
you asked
half.
for,
Well, it's
or
what,
it's
John?
more or less, or
John,
what you asked for.
John, real quick. What is Well, they got 50, right? Yeah. So you minus that by the 16.6. What is that? 33.4, 33.3. So technically, you still have a little bit more than half, and none of you can actually tell each other that you gotta leave. You're all equals. Like, what's to say when John gets done with the expo, you don't kick him to the curb once he builds up the name?
Huh?
And John, do you ever think they may be pulling the long one on you? I figured they were good people. Shouldn't figure anything.
I don't know. People change. I've seen he's changed. I don't think anything ill towards him, even after everything with Fazbear.
Mr. Afton used to look
I
out
see him as a good
for
person.
us, you know. He used to look right up there when he was a little younger, right at your company. It said, I'm going to bulldoze it down when they finally go bankrupt. I'm going to go to them with an offer, buy them out. And then I'm going to destroy everything they built. And you can sit there and look at me and tell me that's okay.
Afton is different than you.
We're not. I promise you. Inside me, John, I spent years learning from him. The way he acted, the way he talked, every crooked business deal I've ever made, every friend I've ever lost, every person I had to silence, every person I paid off. Now, this isn't a contest, but people can change, but it doesn't undo the things they've done.
Of course. But you being here, talking it out is a change.
Real
It's
glad they
different.
rented the place out. This would be awkward with people in it.
It would.
What's your end goal with this then, John? Like, if things don't work out. The obvious route is to use the money I have and build up smaller locations. To build up Ready as a essential must. A stop that everyone must make. I would build it up and have a little office. I would use the connections I already have to broker deals for land, equipment, property, tools, food, and afterward, I'd buy Fazbear out and burn it to the ground. I would destroy everything Mr. Afton built. I'd make sure no one went when he was all alone. Okay.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
Why don't you go talk to Sam? I'll
I'll do that. Of
Thank you, Oliver.
course.
Jesus fucking Christ, mate. You know, I heard about hard dealing, but you don't really have to go that hard. It's the truth. People don't change, Aaron. The hell's wrong with you? Well, you don't think you deserve this chance? I just know what I'm like. You get the sense of something. You get to almost hold it in your hand. It's all you think about. It's all I thought about when I was up there with him. I thought I'd run that company. That's why I tried so hard. And after I didn't get it, I promised myself that I'd make him pay. Mate, your friends work there, don't they? They'd come over. One by one. Because at the end of the day, when you have nowhere else to go, You turn to a friend. You would do that to them? No. It's just what Mr. Afton taught me to do. Mr. Afton said that no one was a true friend. They're all assets. People are just numbers. Programming. Some programming has to be deleted, is the way he explained it to me. If you find a useful piece, you add it to your own. Do you view that as your world, John? Do you view me as a piece of programming? No. But I can't make you believe it. I was in a bad place. And he found me, curled up, freezing to death next to one of his animatronics. Took me in. I was a kid. I had nowhere else to go. And he promised me a chance to be something more. And he tried to instill that belief into me. So when I tell you that the things I've done, it's just, I can't expect them to do this. I'm the reason that they never got off the ground. Every time they would do something, it was my job to do it better. It was my job to be on it. My job to find out what they were doing. I mean, I remember when times were bad and they had to close down some locations, we bought them up. Pennies on the dollar. We single-handedly almost destroyed that company. I almost did that. And now what? Everything's okay because I have no more options? You always have options. Life isn't a cut and dry thing. People aren't two-dimensional. They're deeper than just the surface. When I was a kid, you know, family life was good. My dad treated me well, and he instilled to me what he knew. He taught me to work hard and to become something. And he sent me to college. That's where I met you. And when I met you, you taught me that thinking outside the box sometimes is exactly what you need. That hard work can pay off. I mean, if it wasn't for me, you never got out of the book, and if it wasn't for you, I never been in one. People may not change, but life and time certainly does keep going forward, and we adapt. That's what humans do. If you keep feeling shitty about things you did, you're never going to become the person that you need to be now. So what? You did some shitty things. We all do shitty things. What you need to focus on now is where you go from here. If the deal goes through, that's amazing, you know? You got a chance to take this thing and make it something. And if you don't, well, I hear Fazbear's opening up new locations left and right. I hear they're buying advertisement and making cartoons. That reality that Mr. Afton wanted, it'll come true. They could do fine by themselves. Do you really believe it? Yep, because I believe in people. However you may feel, John, you're still you. You're not him. You, John, you're not like Elliot or Michael. You don't have that venom. The way I seen them on the news. You're not. You don't have it. Right. Let's go see if the deal's gonna go through. Right. How about we go get a drink? There ain't no point in stressing over the things that are gonna happen or not happen. And if they do, fuck it. You'll do great by yourself. You'll always have me, buddy. I mean, you got that restaurant over there that's doing pretty good. Should have used that. I mean, 3.8 million in profit alone. Do you honestly know how much their locations actually earn? If I had to estimate yearly, profit-wise, with the location, the things they have for their microtransactions, probably somewhere around 600,000, give or take a few grand, maybe 10 or 40. That's why they need you. Maybe you're right. So since we rented the place out, is it just going to stay empty? How long did you rent it out for? A week? What the bloody hell would you rent it out for a week? I didn't think the conversation was going to go well. Plan for the worst. And when the worst happens, I get a little angry. Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Let's go get that drink. Yeah, I know a bar. I'm going to go back to that one. Makes me feel at home a little bit.